Hello everyone. This video tutorial will demonstrate one of the newest features available for a student logging on to BrainFue's Live Help, the Math Equation Editor. The Equation Editor is located in the Options bar at the bottom of the Whiteboard screen next to the Text button. The Equation Editor makes it easy to write out complicated math equations and functions without having to rely on just the drawing and text tools. Now, to use this option, first, use the text tool to pick a spot on the whiteboard where you want your math expression to be. So click on the screen at your desired location, and then click on the equation editor. And as we can see, what we get is this miniature whiteboard with a keyboard of its own. So we can see in the middle, we have your standard numbers and operations like you'd see on any calculator. And on the left, we have some more scientific expressions that are found on more advanced calculators, and on the right we have some more advanced functions that we can use in order to express the more complicated equations and functions and so forth. So to pick an example, let's say you wanted to type in 5 squared over x. All right, so you can type in a 5 as usual. Now, what about the squaring? Well, over on the left-hand side, the function side, we can see that there is a square option. It's a squared. Click on that, and boom, you get your exponent right there without having to rely on that complicated text tool or freehand drawing. But now, how do you do the over x portion? Well, in this scientific section, you can see there's a fraction button, x over y. Click on that, and the cursor gets sent to the denominator, and now you're free to type in 5 squared over whatever you wanted. I said x, so I will stick with that. The x button takes care of that. So now we have 5 squared over x. Now let's say I want to set that equal to something. Set equal to, say, the cube root of 7. Again, just picking something at random. So how do we get ourselves out of that denominator? Well, you can use the right arrow key. Just push that on the keyboard, and the cursor is now on the outside of the fraction. So we can continue this equation like normal. So equals, now I said cube root. Well, over here on the scientific side, we have a square root, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted the cube root. So where do I go for that one? Well, over here on the right-hand side, as I said before, we have some more complicated functions. All right, now over here on the left-hand corner of that region, we have math function, F-U-N-C. Click on that, and we have all sorts of mathematical functions that can be used for more complicated equations and expressions, like this eighth root of b, or it says nth root there, but it's eighth root of b, whatever you want to call it. It's the kind of root that we're looking for in this example. I wanted the cube root of, what did I say, 7? Well, let's say 7. So cube root of 7. I click on that, and now we have the blinking cursor there. I'll just type in a 3 for cube root, and I can click on the inside there to make it a 7. And there we have 5 squared over x equals the cube root of 7. Okay, so now it's still in the miniature whiteboard, but how do I get it onto the actual whiteboard so the tutor can see it? Well, down here in the right-hand corner of the equation editor box, you can see a check mark that indicates done. That means you're done with your equation. You can put it onto the board. So click on that, and there it is. You see 5 squared over x equals cube root of 7. And this is something that the tutor will also be able to see on his or her own side. All right, so there's a lot of different types of functions that you can play with on this equation editor. There's also some trig functions that is often useful for students. So I will demonstrate one more example of this. Click there. Click on the equation editor. So let's say I wanted a trigonometric function. Well, over here on the function side, we can see there's trigonometry, trig for short. Click on that. All the trig functions you could ever want. So I'm going to pick sine. And notice how when you pick any kind of function, not just the trigs, but any kind of function, they're nice enough to open up these parentheses for you so you can type in whatever you want to put in there. So let's say pi. Pi is a popular option for trigonometric functions. So sine of pi. All right, we can see it looks nice there. Now, just like with the fraction, you can use the right arrow key to get yourself out of the parentheses. So now you can continue things as usual. So sine of pi would be greater than or equal to, I put that in there for fun, because there it is right there, down in the lower right-hand corner of the scientific portion. The greater than or equal to, now what else can I do with this? Well, over here in GK, that's up in the right-hand corner of the right side function portion of it, the Greek alphabet, various Greek symbols that are commonly used in mathematical functions, pi, theta, delta being among the most popular ones. I'll pick theta right there. So sine of pi is greater than or equal to theta. So you could show this to a tutor and ask, so what are the thetas that are, less than or equal to sine of pi? And they'd be able to answer the question, hopefully. No, they will definitely be able to answer that question. So, so again, we can click on the check mark there, indicating that it's done, and there it is right there. And again, the list doesn't stop here. There are many different buttons and functions and options that can be played with in this math equation editor, and you could use that to display, well, almost any kind of math expression that you want. Now, another thing that has been popular among math students would be the graphing option or the grid option. Now, the grid is not located in the math equation editor. It's located in the shape section, the draw shapes with the triangle, square, and circle. Now, notice we have a couple of options here. We have a number line, and we have an actual two-dimensional grid. I'll click on that and show you. You can click on that, and there it is right there. You have the grid. You can use that to put in some numbers here. You can adjust the numbers if you wanted to. See, this randomly goes from -10 to +10 for both axes, but doesn't have to be. You can set the minimum as -5 if you wanted to, and the max at 12. Again, at 12. Let's just get that fixed. There we go. So min 5, max 12. All right, so that would be on the, yeah, see, there we go. On the new grid right there, starts at 5 and finishes at 12 for both axes. So you can adjust the scale as you see fit. So, and again, once you have the graph on there, you can, draw a line to show the tutor where the line is located that you need to find the equation of or evaluate some points at or whatever you need to do. And of course, you can draw freehand for any sort of a freehand curve, change the color if you want to, so you can have more than one curve on there, distinguishing one from the other. So yes, you can have a grid up on your board and adjust it as you see fit and use it to pinpoint any particular function, graphs, or points that you need to show the tutor. So that's a look at the various mathematical options that you can use to work with a math tutor. So thank you for watching this lesson and have a good day.